Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Ignition Time. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. I'm a political and economic commentator for our channel, the Ignition Time channel. This channel is about the country, the economy, as well as our money. I talk about politics, I talk about economics, and I talk about everything that's important for all of us to know because I come to you with a global perspective. I was actually born and raised in India. Now I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream, and my goal is to help us understand all the current news that is going on in our country and make sense of it and come to rational decisions ourselves. Let's start now by taking a look at what Republicans are doing. They seem to be really hung up on the border wall and the border talking points today because they're trying to create as much trouble as possible. Let's roll the tape and take a look at Republicans as they create as many issues as they can about the border wall. Let's watch.
Crime, methamphetamine, border crisis,
humanitarian crisis, cartel, illegal immigrants,
hundreds of people,
tens of thousands,
hundreds of thousands that are coming.
tidal wave of illegal immigration.
Now, let's take a look at Congresswoman Diana Harshbarger, who's a Republican from Tennessee. She goes big on all the fear-mongering about the border wall. She says, I quote, "I'm from Tennessee, and I'm not a border state, but if this continues, every state will be a border state." Folks, I want our viewers and subscribers to understand that I was born and raised in India, and I can tell you that there are certain countries in the world, Russia and China amongst them, where you couldn't even speak your mind. You speak your mind, and you'll probably vanish from the face of the earth. We live here in the United States of America. We have the fortune, the privilege of freedom of speech. But this rhetoric from the Republicans is really taking freedom of speech to a whole new level. It's fear-mongering, it's tribalism, which is fundamentally what politicians do. Let's actually roll the tape and hear from the Republican from Tennessee, Congresswoman Diana Harshbarger, who says, again, "I'm not a border state, but if this continues, every state will be a border state." This is, in my opinion, a big manufactured problem. Yes, we have a border wall issue, but the extent to which these Republicans seem to be trying to ratchet up the fear and trying to make this a significantly bigger issue than it actually is, and actually talking about states that are not border states, acting as if they were border states, is really taking things to a whole new level. Let's roll the tape and watch.
I'm from Tennessee. I'm from the 1st District, and I'm not a border state. But if this continues, every state will be a border state.
Now, speaking of interesting congresswomen, here's the troublemaker, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican from Georgia. She said this, and I quote, "You don't have to read and you don't have to know anything to see the truth that's happening every single day at the southern border." This is the exact kind of dog whistling that the former president really mastered. And now in his footsteps, we have many Republicans continuing to try and raise as much trouble as possible. Let's take a look at the perpetual troublemaker, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican from Georgia.
You don't have to read, you don't have to know anything to see the truth that's happening every single day at the southern border. These are the facts.
And if you thought that was interesting, here's an interesting video clip from Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who's a Republican from Colorado. She said this, "Cackling Kamala." And by the way, she's giving names to the Vice President of the United States. Again, this was made popular and mainstream by former President Trump. Cackling Kamala, her work on the border is non-existent. It's a joke. And even she laughs, but it's not funny. Pretty incredible comments. Let's roll the tape and hear from Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Let's watch.
President Biden passed the buck to cackling Kamala when he tapped Ms. Harris as border czar. Her work on the border is non-existent. It's a joke, and even she laughs. But it's not funny.
In fact, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert takes things to a whole new level. She says this, I quote, "I'm proud to lead my colleagues in filing a bill to censure President Joe Biden for his dereliction of duty in failing to secure the southern homeland." Clearly, they have a major issue. Let's roll the tape and hear from Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Let's watch.
President Biden passed the buck to cackling Kamala when he tapped Ms. Harris as border czar. Her work on the border is non-existent. It's a joke, and even she laughs. But it's not funny. This administration has not lifted a finger to end this crisis and secure our southern border. They must be held accountable. And that's why today I am proud to lead my colleagues in filing a bill to censure President Joe Biden for his dereliction of duty and failing to secure the southern homeland. He has refused to enforce the laws that Congress has passed to secure our border. He has refused to visit the border. His border czar, Kamala, has failed to visit the border.
Here's another interesting comment from Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. She said this, and I quote, President Biden should have a cognitive test. I agree with my colleague Ronnie Jackson, who has demanded a cognitive test of the president. Yes, this is exactly what a congresswoman, an elected official for the United States of America, says about our president. This is pretty unbelievable, folks, but hey, this is the world that we live in. It looks like the Republicans want to create as much trouble as possible and want to continue raising tensions wherever they can. Let's roll the tape and hear from Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who says that the president should have a cognitive test, and she says that a cognitive test of the president is something that is necessary. Let me know whether you agree or disagree with this in the comment section below. Pretty incredible comments from Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Let's roll the tape and watch.
I do believe that this is deliberate. I also believe that President Biden should have a cognitive test. I agree with my colleague Ronnie Jackson, who has demanded a cognitive test of the president. He had to perform one for President Trump when he was President Trump's doctor. But I do believe that this is deliberate, and that's why we're not seeing any real solutions, any real answers at the border. To all of us, this is a crisis. To the ranchers who are having their property destroyed by the illegal aliens that are crossing, breaking their fences, harassing their livestock, to the cities that are being flooded now, inundated with illegal aliens. This is a crisis. But to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, this is mission accomplished. Our role as Congress is to provide oversight. And that is what we are doing. We are the check and balance right now on this executive branch.
And if you thought that was interesting, let's take another look at Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who also questioned the mental fitness of the President of the United States. And she said this, I quote, everyone knows that Joe Biden is failing and can't do the job of the President of the United States. Well, folks, if you think that passing a $1.9 trillion stimulus within 6 to 8 weeks of inauguration, if you think that making sure that a majority of Americans who want to get vaccinated, if you think that going toe-to-toe with the dictator Putin from Russia, trying to restore our faith in the international community, trying to restore the soul of America is something that the president is not doing, or is something that is not the job of the president of the United States, well, then I guess you're Marjorie Taylor Greene, or you believe the nonsense she puts out. Let's roll the tape and hear from the perpetual troublemaker, from the absolutely Looney Tunes Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's roll the tape and watch.
Let's talk about Vice President Harris and why she's finally decided to go to the border. Well, we all know the truth, don't we? It's because President Trump said he's going to the border. And Kamala Harris knows more than anyone that she's likely to be the presidential nominee in 2024. You see, this isn't too hard to see. It's just exactly what it is. Everyone knows that Joe Biden is failing and can't do the job as President of the United States. So I want to again thank you, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who's headed back to the floor to go vote, for this important resolution to censure Joe Biden. And I'll add to that, he doesn't need just censured, he needs impeached. Thank you very much.
That's where things stand, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. This right here is a little bit of information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. My goal is to help you live the American dream, because I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream. I want you to know that I was able to overcome the cycle of poverty that you see on your screen right now, and my goal is to help you overcome the cycle of poverty. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. I want you to know that you can also follow us on Twitter. You'll get the latest news from us on Twitter. It's almost like having your own real-time news feed. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, our Twitter handle is ignition_time. That's our Twitter handle. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.